And welcome back to the Doom City of Granitegard here on the Guard Tower Presents. This is our weekly live play fantasy adventure that we do Sunday evenings at 7 p.m. Eastern Time on Twitch. And then we post that week's episode on Fridays to the YouTube channel for the Guard Tower. And if you are wondering how to get over to the Guard Tower's channels, you can visit our Linktree page. And we have links to that there. You can find our Linktree page right here on the screen. You can also see it down in the chat as well, but for those of you that might be listening, it is linktr.ee/GCOG. Again, that is What? There's things going on. Don't pay attention to the man. Okay, so yes, linktr.ee/GCOG. And you can visit our our
just call it Twitter.
My goodness gracious.
Check the socials.
Yes, check our socials there. You can find links to the Guard Tower's YouTube channel and their Twitch channel.
We're hip.
You can visit us on Discord if you really want to talk to us. That would be great.
You do.
If you like what we're doing, a follow would be fantastic on Twitter, or a like and subscribe on YouTube. It means a whole lot to us. Helps us grow the channel. And again, that'd be fantastic. Pocket Bard is helping us out this evening with our music and our sound effects. If you haven't downloaded this app, we suggest heading over to Google Play or the Apple App Store. It's super easy to use, and we'll bring some magic to your own tables to check out. And speaking of magic, the Guard Tower, either the east or west location, is a fantastic place to go find everything that you're looking for as far as magic, science fiction, Western, what have you. They've got the genres there. And the games. They've got strategy games, tabletop games, even family board games there. If you're into minis and things along those lines, they've got paints, they've got the minis, they've got the mats and all the accoutrements that go along with that. You can visit them at the west location, which is on Hague Road, but that's going to be moving over here to Night Drive after the Christmas season, which is where the studio is. And it is a huge floor space for the sales end of things and for the gamers. Those of you that are looking to meet people that are interested in the same games that you're playing. Just outside of the studio here is a massive game floor for you to run any game that you can possibly think of there. You can also go visit them at the east location, which is right off of 270 on Main Street. Super easy to get to as far as that goes. And once again, they have a fantastic staff and access to all kinds of games and tabletop gaming area too. So definitely check either of those out. If you can't make it there, you can always visit them online at theguardtower.com. Once again, that is theguardtower.com. Check out all their wares. You can also see their community of players that are interested in things that you like to do. So everybody's a win. So the Guard Tower is certainly the key to your next adventure. So go check them out on that. Now, we do have a little bit of an announcement here. The Doom City of Granitegard will not be airing next week. We are going to take off on November 26th to enjoy some time with our loved ones and celebrate by indulging in way too much food.
We're gonna be too full to play.
Exactly on that.
It's gonna be a very long rest.
It is always good to take at least one day to count your blessings as far as that you have in life, as far as your family and friends and such go. So certainly focus on the good things. Life is certainly trying to throw enough negative at us recently here. So definitely take some time to enjoy and celebrate the good things that are in your life on that. And we will see you again on December 3rd. I do believe that wraps up all my major announcements. Roger, was there anything that I left out for the evening?
No, I don't think so. I think that was it.
Fantastic. I like that. Okay, so it's my favorite time of the evening, and I get to ask you all, who's ready to throw some dice? Yeah. Fantastic. Well, let's do our intro, and then hop into tonight's adventure. We'll see you back here in just a few moments.
Once the seat of economic and political power in the Northern Territories, the city of Granitegard fell in one catastrophic moment of terror and bloodshed. In the quiet hours of the night, the massive granite mesa that served as the city's namesake exploded violently, the debris reducing entire swaths of the city to ruin. Before the inhabitants could even comprehend what had happened, they were blindsided by an army of monstrosities surging from the sewers and into the city streets. The militia valiantly attempted to protect the fleeing citizens, but their efforts were futile against the overwhelming tide of bloodthirsty creatures. And in the midst of the chaos, the city gates slammed shut, turning Granitegard into a death trap for anyone that remained behind the high, fortified walls that had been meant to protect them. For over a decade, it has stood as silent as a tomb and shrouded in a perpetual mist. No one has entered, and nothing human has ever come out. That is, until now. 12 years to the day since the fall of Granitegard, the Trader's Gate has opened. The news has spread like wildfire across the human crescent. And like a siren's call, fortune hunters from far and wide have been drawn by the possibility of untold riches lying just inside the city walls. Daring the foolish and the brave to risk it all at a chance of wealth beyond their wildest dreams. It has also stirred the interest of old rivals. With no one from the original bloodline to claim the mantle of leadership of Granitegard, plans are forming in the dark. Powerful forces seek to play their games of state, as the lives of everyone in the North hangs in the balance. And in the midst of this all, 6 strangers have been drawn to Granitegard by something other than riches or power. Their destiny is tied to the events surrounding the fall of the city. Each of them must confront the past in order to find a way forward. Each of them must search for answers in the doomed city of Granitegard.
Moose is a lot easier to say.
I've got everything. Well,
Got it full set.
we're going to do a quick recap and then hop into tonight's adventure there. And so, as we left off last week, the Way has been defeated. Sep is dead, and her hold over the criminal organization has been broken, and the leadership has been fractured. But if it was a victory, it certainly came at quite some cost to our heroes. Damon, or should I say Dante, is still reeling from taking his brother's life and the revelation that Sep was his mother. The Reverend was able to get his revenge, but now he's left with the terrible realization that the fires of retribution that were keeping his soul warm have been replaced by an emptiness. And he is certainly a man right now without a purpose.
Adrift.
For Ehko and Mary,
Sure.
both of them have taken the death of Pavis very hard, actually much harder than it seems in the rest of the party. Ehko seems to feel that he has failed to protect the weakest of his pack. Meanwhile, Mary has been cradling the broken body of Pavis, unable to let him go. Both of them are racked with guilt and remorse on that. When the party left the warren of chambers beneath Newtown, they encountered the Concordance soldiers who had been ordered to bring our adventurers to see King George. And after a brief attempt to avoid this, the party acquiesced to the demands when the Colossus seized Yip Yip in a very dangerous manner and held the kobold's little life literally in his hand. When they appeared before King George, he was most distressed, and the party had been coerced in such a way to come see him. And he did cause quite an uproar with his advisors from the Concordance when he ordered all of his chambers within the Great House made available to the party so they could have time to clean themselves up and catch their breath. In the brief interaction that they had, Merwin Hastings had purposely brought Anna's missing siblings out as his personal attendants there. He made quite a grand production of displaying his trophies and seemed to revel in the discomfort that he was causing Anna. Vaughn met privately with King George in his personal chambers there, and their conversation seemed to be quite intense, but yet very earnest. However, during this conversation, Vaughn experienced that voice again, and it had urged him to give in to his darkest thoughts, to kill King George, to eliminate any threats to the throne, to allow him to fulfill his goals of retaking Granitegard. And Ehko had used this time that the party was resting and cleaning themselves up to convince Yip Yip to turn him invisible so that he could take care of a personal task. And it is here where we're going to begin tonight's adventure. And so Ehko, Yip Yip has just turned you invisible, and you step out into the hall there, and you can see to your left, there are guards posted outside of each one of the rooms that your companions are in. There is a room that seems to have 2 guards next to it, including the one that you just stepped out of. Also has 2 guards. However, they kind of look at each other for a moment when the door opens and closes, then go back to what they're doing. Nobody seems to have noticed you invisible and passing with only a moderate trace.
Appropriate amount.
I'm pretty much looking for the path of least resistance to get out of the building.
So, Ehko, go ahead and give me a stealth check, and you can roll with advantage.
That'll be, with a natural 20, a 34.
All right. So, Echo, as you proceed to move, it is literally a matter of just people bustling and moving by, and you are following people's footsteps as the door pushes open one way. As the door begins to close another way, somebody else opens it up, and you just slip right on through and out the front doors of the Great Hall. Oops, knock that over. So out into the night you step. The sun has begun to set. The temperature is dropping. See a couple of snowflakes begin to fall down, but not heavy snow by any imagination, just a very light dusting seems to be dropping at this point. Out in the streets, it is relatively empty. You do see heavy patrols currently, and all the soldiers do appear to have the Concordance symbols on them. None of them have the rose. At this point, it is clear. Where do you intend to head? Are you going to head back over to the Silver Chalice?
I'm heading towards where we just came from earlier, back towards the entrance where those animals were trapped.
All right, so you head back to the Silver Chalice, and you can see the doors have been barred and closed, and then it doesn't seem to do a whole lot because there is this humanoid-shaped hole on the side where the Colossus made his entrance earlier. That does not seem to be currently barred at this point.
Yeah, Echo will just take one look back at the building where everyone currently is and head through towards the Silver Chalice and slip through the Colossus-sized hole.
Into the Silver Chalice you go. The inside is empty. It's very quiet. Nothing really illuminating anything, but that doesn't seem to cause you too much trouble. You go to the secret entrance that leads down, and down the staircase you go into the main foyer area that you had seen the first time you came down here. It again is very eerily quiet. There still are several oil lamps that are lit within here, but you can tell somebody else has also come down here and put out a good number of them. More than likely the guards have. I can also see where some people have obviously been poking through items and such down here. And you're heading back off to the chamber where you believe where the bear sits.
Correct.
As you are moving that direction, your foot hits something and you stop and look down and you see a dirty object on the floor. Looks to be like a child's toy of some nature.
I will pick it up and do my best to clean it off.
When you pick it up, you see that it's the wolf that you had given Pavis a while back. And it's been stepped on and kicked about. But you do clean it off a bit, recognize the wolf there. And as you head back to where the cages and such were and take a step into the room, you see where the bear cage is. And the bear is at the far side of the cage up against the wall of the room in the most protected corner of its cage, very much balled up and not even responding to you as you enter the room.
He's just kind of holding the wolf in his hand, his sword in the other, and he approaches the cage and says quietly to the bear, "Hello again. I came back. I know you probably don't want to see me right now, and that's okay. But I had some things on my mind, and it felt wrong to leave you behind. I know you're angry. I would be too. We tried something. We were gonna save Percy by save Damon by destroying Sep. We thought that would work. I didn't know that they would take all the people that were close to us, but I thought that would help him. I thought that would help the Reverend. I don't think it did. And we lost people because of it. I tried to help. I tried everything I could. And it wasn't enough. I know you've been let down by the people who were supposed to protect you. I just want you to know that you shouldn't be I don't blame you for that. That's natural. I just, it's hard thinking that I did everything I could and it was wrong. I've been taught this was the way things worked. This was, if you respected the natural order, if you did what was honorable, it would help people. And they still die. They still are taken from us. And it's doing no good. I thought this was my purpose. I thought do what other people tell me, do what Rex tells me, what Algar tells me, what Vaughn tells me. It hasn't worked. It hasn't worked. I've tried. I really have. But I don't think I'm good enough for this. I told Pavis, I couldn't even kill. I couldn't even do it. Damon did it, and I just watched him. I didn't even put him out of his misery. I didn't even give him that. I just looked at him. I couldn't even pull the knife. I couldn't do anything. I just stood there.
At this point, there's this exhalation. You notice that the bear, as you were looking down and having this intense conversation with yourself, but also with the bear, but the bear has gotten up and moved as close to you as possible the cage allows. And the head of the bear is pressed up against the bars of the cage with the nose somewhat pushed through, and the exhalation was more to grab your attention. And the bear is looking straight into your eyes right now and does not appear to have the malice that it had before. As if almost there's this understanding between the two of you as it looks at you.
The people who put you here, they hurt you and they let you down. And even though I'm trying to be better, I failed just like them. I let down Gin and Sybil and Sabor and Creo and the Grandmaster. I failed them all. They were all better than me. And I was the one who lived. And now they want me to save Algar when I don't even... I mean, the fact he's relying on me is ridiculous. I couldn't even save one child. And he's just gripping the wolf at this point. I told him he'd be safe. I told him he could trust us, and I failed.
The bear snorts again and steps over to the cage door and kind of butts its head against the cage door.
And I thought, maybe they don't need me. But I couldn't just leave you here. So, I don't have a home. I don't have a family. I don't have friends. I don't have a purpose. So, I just wanted to say that I'm really sorry, Pavis. I'm really, really sorry. And he's going to cut the lock with his sword on the cage and then drop his sword to the ground.
The lock falls free and the cage door swings open as the massive bulk of this cave bear steps out into the room with you. At this point, you do notice that the left back paw on the cave bear has been damaged. It must have been when they were apprehending it or something. It's missing most of the toes on that back paw there. And the bear looks at you and actually steps up and kind of rests his head against your chest there and gives a snort. And it's a massive, that head is equally the size of your chest, given the size of this bear. And it looks up to you, snorts again, and takes 2 steps towards the exit, towards the back of the room, and looks back at you again.
At this point, Ehko has fallen to his knees, kind of, he thinks at peace with his life.
Bear steps back over and nudges you, and then takes 2 more steps towards the door and stops.
What?
It's a-
He looks over at his sword and the hilt with the engraving on it. Why?
Bear takes one more step and stops back and looks at you again.
And he picks up the sword.
Takes several more steps and then stops at the exit to the room to what looks like that's where you all had first come in down the back side there.
He will take one more look at the wolf. At this point, just tears falling out of his eyes. Okay. Okay. And he'll stand up and follow the bear.
Doors are closed. The bar is dropped and the bear pushes up against it with its head one more time.
I'll help him with whatever it seems he's doing.
You lift the bar out of the way and push the doors open. Now, at least that hall where the original junction came in from the pawn shop, but as the bear leads you down that hall, it stops at that L-shaped intersection and is staring at the wall of that L-shaped intersection. It looks at you, looks back at the wall, and nudges it again with its head.
I will approach whatever it's nudging.
Looks to be nudging a stone wall, like almost like when it's been carved, literally chiseled out of the stone.
Is there an opening, or
Why don't you take a look?
push on it, or something?
Your investigation.
Yeah. Oh. I just see tears. 6.
6. You're looking at the door and you can't figure out what this bear is trying to tell you. And almost in frustration, you lean up against the door itself. And the stone that you lean on, you hear this rumbling sound as it slides back into the wall itself. And there's a click, and this door swings open. Quite a large, wide door, like something designed to bring cargo in and out. And all you can see is this long tunnel into the darkness as the bear begins to walk.
I'll follow it.
It is very hard to measure distance because, again, there's nothing to look at but this tunnel in pure darkness. But as you reach the very end, what you see is a ladder, and there also appears to be an elevator for cargo that goes up and down. And the bear goes and kind of stands on that, looks over at you, and gives a whoosh again.
Whatever he's doing, I'm at this point not even thinking. Just
All right. Bear, you step onto the elevator. You can see there's a lever on the elevator itself.
pull it.
Pull it, and here weights drop, and the elevator now rises up. And as it does so, the ceiling, which is actually the floor of the room you come into, opens up, and the elevator comes up out of this, and you are greeted with the most awful, awful smell of decay. As you first look around trying to figure out what you're in the middle of, you realize you're in the middle of a tannery. And the decay would be the parts and such that are stripped away from the animals that are being tanned. And the only place you could think of where the tannery was across from the mill, where you had gone to fight the basilisks. The bear goes to the doors and nudges them wide open. You can now see out into the night. And yes, sure enough, you're literally right across from the mill. You could hear the Wild Run River in the background behind the mill. The wheels are turning. Nobody seems to be there at the mill at this point in time. But you're out into the night, and as you turn on and look, you can see the large field and then the walls of Newtown. The bear looks up at you and gives another oof, and nudges up against you and rubs you, almost knocking you over. And as the bear begins to walk towards where the mill is, you hear several other bear mule sort of sounds, and several cubs come tumbling out from one of the wood piles and run up to the bear. And the bear, she nudges them and gives her cubs a good hug, as much of a bear can possibly do. It looks back at you, and there's this recognition that passes between you, and the bear turns to walk off with her cubs as you stand out there in the night. Mary, you're sitting in your room at this point. Everybody else, you're sure, is probably getting themselves ready, but you're still there with Pavis, looking at Pavis's, what he's wrapped in, as much dignity as you all could provide him.
Yeah, I can't bring myself to shower or eat or do anything. I'm just like sitting on the foot of my bed, cradling this dead child. And I think I'm just very traumatized by it all, that somebody could do this to a child is just, I can't wrap my brain around it.
At your door.
I will get up with the body and open the door.
As you open the door, you see Prior Mason there. And he looks at you, looks at the body. He's like, Mary, might I come in and have a word with you in private, please?
Okay.
Steps into the room and closes the door and kind of ushers you over to the bed. He's like, why don't you set your burden down here on the bed? I'm sure to be very respectful and comfortable for your companion there. I believe it would be easier for you and I to have a conversation if your hands were free, so to speak. You definitely look like you need to. You've acquired quite a bit of burden, it seems. I would like to speak with you, seeing as how we have known each other for many years, and to me, I believe that you've been placed in a situation that was far beyond what you were expecting. I mean, I too would have been concerned if something had happened to my father as such, and that's very understandable. But when you abandon your duties as you did, stealing away into the middle of the night, those are considered very terrible crimes against the church. And
Are we really doing this right now?
Mary, I do believe we need to have this conversation. Standing with your compatriots is placing you in a possible. You could possibly be. I would hate to see you being accused of heresy, especially going against the church as well. We had our differences while you and I were at the Citadel. I know this. I was a brash young man at the time. We were all young.
At the time? You don't find this brash? Do you know what I've been through today? Do you think I want to listen to your crap about heresy? Do you think I care about the thoughts of the church right now?
Mary,
Because I don't.
I am trying to prevent you from imprisonment, from having to appear before the High Inquisitor, and those are the nicest things that could happen to you. You could very easily be put to a very painful death for standing against the will of the church.
Oh, so you came here out of worry for me. Is that it?
Mary,
Forgive me, but I'm really not convinced. So what do you want?
I believe that we can turn the situation around. If you, I would hate to see your father's legacy tarnished any further. If we could destroy the notes that he has made, it would prevent anyone from.
Get out!
But Mary, please hear my. If you wouldn't even have to speak out against your friends. If you would just step back away from them and allow matters to play out. I think that we could help.
I'm going to turn and gently lay Pavis down on the bed.
Yes, that is a spot for you.
And I'm going to punch him.
Yeah.
Make an attack roll.
I feel like that's a surprise. You should get advantage.
Oh yeah.
Then we're going to grant advantage on that.
Yeah.
Very convinced that she wasn't going to.
Yes.
It's our Mary.
Yeah.
Punch.
That is a 24.
Does that hit?
Does it hit?
Just a smidge.
So he makes us, oh! You catch him very much unaware. And you ring his bell quite a bit. He staggers back, and his lip immediately begins to swell. There's a trickle of blood that comes out of it, and he's, oh,
Now, if you don't excuse me, I have to figure out what to do with a dead, mutilated child. If you'll just kindly exit in my room.
He backs away to the door and steps out real quick and closes the door behind himself. And
Yes, Fraba.
well,
Go, Mary.
my
fist is called diplomacy.
Right here.
All right. Here.
that happened. So yes, Ehko.
Deserved.
Are you returning back from your escapade there?
So as he watches the family of bears just disappear into the forest, and he has, his clown makeup all messed up from the ears.
I forgot he had
No one else forgot. All I could think about.
I was actually with you on that.
That is
I think
the
I might have pushed
clown.
that purposely out of my mind. Continue.
he just kind of is standing there, just kind of baffled by what just happened, and then he just lets out a soft chuckle, and he's actually going to, before he returns, he's going to find a nice spot, maybe where Pavis found him that time before we went off together, and he's gonna bury the wolf there. And he's just thinking of Pavis the whole time.
After that, you'll be returning in the inside of Newtown.
Mhm.
Okay. All right. Just trying to gauge time and things along those lines. All right. So, are there any other actions you're taking outside of that?
Pretty much do that, take a moment, and when it feels right, return to the group.
All right. We'll talk about that here in a few moments. Anna, there's also a knock at your door as well.
Okay. All right. I'll go to open it.
And you can see Lawrence is there.
Oh.
He's like, yeah, I've been asked to escort you to the dining chamber for a conversation with Marilyn.
Oh, wow. So I didn't know you were a serving boy now. That's such a big advancement for you. Wow. You must be so proud. Yeah, please lead on. Lead on.
Absolutely. You can write a paycheck that large. I'll certainly be glad to
Right.
take care of you as well.
Yeah, I'll write it out. 17 coppers.
Yeah, I don't even think you have that much, do you? Let's
Yeah.
go.
Oh, great.
And
Great.
he just walks you over to the table. Now, most of the other advisors are kind of scattered at this point. Mirwan's still sitting where he was, picking at some of the food that was still there. You can see a lot of the food has actually been moved off the table at this point because, well, it's been sitting out now for about 45 minutes or so. And as you sit down, he slides over a glass of wine. He's like, yes, well, it is the best I can do around here. So, Anna. Yes. In the situation that you are facing currently, we would like to offer you the possibility to help yourself out in this situation and maybe possibly to help others as well. You see, if you were to step aside, say, just ride this out in the safety of the sidelines, when this is all over and King George is king, those that gave him their support would certainly be considered for all kinds of ways of repayment and thanks. And I know in a situation like you're facing with your debtor still standing at this point.
Technically, my father's debtor. I just want to be just absolutely crystal clear about that.
This is true, but he did incur the debt within the Concordance, which does make you all susceptible to the laws therein.
Of course, of course.
So, yes, and again, like I said, I'm looking to offer you something here. Possibly, if you were to do this to forgive your debt on that, maybe even see about helping to restore your title, which would definitely restore your family home. And, if you were to, let's say, lend your support verbally for King George and let's say, discuss with people like how Vaughn may not be the wisest choice for the stewardship of Granitegard down the road, it might even be feasible to see a reward of returning dear little Alexander and poor little Ivanka. I mean, what they go through. It'd be humiliating if that was my siblings. So, what do you think about this? He sips on the wine and smiles at you. Would that be something you may consider?
Well, considering, Merwin, that your word is worth less than dirt to me, I would need it in writing, I would need it written down, I would need it notified by the church.
And he pulls out a scroll and sets it down before you.
Oh, thank you. I'm gonna just peruse it. Does it say, does
It
it have...
seems to explain everything that he has listed in there just the way he presented it to you.
Interesting. Does it have his seal on it, or is it his father's?
It's his father's seal.
Oh,
And
good,
there's
good.
also the seal of the High Inquisitor on there as well.
Interesting.
All it's lacking is just your signature. I know you don't have a seal currently, but I think your signature will be just...
Well, it's been rather an eventful day. Would you mind if I took some time to consider this incredibly generous
He pulls
offer?
it back. And
Yeah.
so he goes, yes, afraid that was going to be what you would say on that. Unfortunately, this is a one-time offer on that. I would think very carefully about it. Wouldn't want something like this to slip through your fingers, you know? I mean, who knows what could happen? Servants often just, the demands of their job make their life dangerous. I mean, wasn't there someone else you knew that happened because of their role in servants?
This guy.
She died in the mines.
Oh, yes, in the mines, yes. That's terrible. Anyways, so about the offer, let's make a decision now.
What's Lawrence doing during this?
He seems to be basically doing like a little bit of a manicure type of thing with his dagger, just kind of, sort of thing. Just like he's not even paying attention to what's going on.
And if I sign, what happens?
Oh, if you sign, then we will put you up here in town in a nice little room, and you can just let all this magic happen.
Do you know that there are other games afoot, that there are wider problems?
With goodness, at this point, we have close to 2,500 soldiers currently here, and another 10,000 on the way. I highly doubt that we are going to have to worry about too much.
Ah, I see.
I think we can pretty much take care of whatever that city has in it there. And I'm very confident that our partners are definitely apt to ensure our success in this campaign.
Ah. Even if I were to take this deal, there are forces at work that would mean it meant nothing. And she's talking herself through it at this point. So no. No. And I think you will find, I can't believe I'm doing this, I think you will find, Marwyn, that this test that your father has set for you, you are destined to fail in if you don't open your eyes.
Oh, right. Pretty much figured that's the way this was going to go, but I thought, extend the offer, see if you were smart enough to figure that one out, but no. Thank you. This does make everything else that'll happen so much easier on that. Do enjoy the meal this evening. I do believe it's just about time to bring everyone back out of their rooms.
Great. Good. I'm gonna drain the wine glass. Just.
Are you going to stay seated next to Merwin?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, you guys are bestest buddies.
Yeah,
Fantastic. The rest of you, there are knocks at your door. Ehko, you have just made it back into your room on time. As you snuck back in, the invisibility you realized was gone after you had re-entered. But with your earlier roll of a 20 and such, you're fairly well sure of the layout and would be able to slip back in, at least this evening. The rest of you are asked to rejoin. Vaughn, George has left the room and allowed you to clean yourself up. Everybody else is going to take their seat at the table?
I
Did
will
we-
not be joining.
Did we have refreshments in our rooms?
No.
Okay.
Just
Will has learned.
Then mysteriously, I have I've drank all my potion bottles out of my jacket, and
Attention check, please.
the Reverend pretty smelly right now. Constitution, my favorite kind of beer.
That could just be the road, right?
That will be an 18 plus 0.
Wow.
Can I give my coins to make it negative?
Yes.
Yeah.
I've never had them use that one. Oh, wow, that's actually a really good point. I forgot to make mention of last week. One of the things that we do here and is pass out inspiration coins for various performances and things along those lines that the players do that really were fantastic. So let's go ahead and first the Reverend and Damon/Dante both earned a platinum. And then the rest of the party, for their various contributions to the story, all earned a gold on that. So well done, everybody. That was quite impressive.
Yeah. So if we put both of these
Yeah, I was
towards,
gonna say,
yeah.
can we get it to a negative one?
Yeah.
We
all
all have those.
I know.
We drive it into the negative.
Into the negative, yeah.
So if you
So
get
much
like a
good.
negative 20, does that mean like it's a critical fail? Like the world explodes? Or
I think
You
that-
have the screen. You have
Science.
the
I will
It
say the
doesn't
option
go
of
that
roll
way.
It's a
explode.
science, yeah.
So, all right, yes. Okay, so I guess nobody is cursing you on that, but yes, you can hold your liquor quite well there.
Draft.
So it should be interesting watching you do some social checks coming up. So anyway, Vaughn,
Gotta make it interesting.
Yep.
Mary, you are staying in your room? The rest of you come
I'm
out?
having a mental breakdown on the floor. Yes.
Well, that should be fair.
That's a big mood.
Vaughn, as you have cleaned yourself up as best you possibly can, as you get ready to leave, take one last look in the mirror and make sure you look okay. And as you're turning away, you catch the vision of Thresh in the mirror. And when you look back, it's gone.
What did he look like? Did he look like the Thresh that I remember, or the Thresh that I saw the last time I saw him?
Thresh that you saw the last time, very decayed and terrible looking. And as you kind of shake that off and reach for the doorknob, just as you're opening the doorknob, you hear echoing in your ears, tick-tock, tick-tock. And the door swings open. At this point, you're looking out into the hallway.
Are our rooms like in a row or
Not
like,
here.
near each other?
He went up to King George's chambers.
Okay.
Two guards look at you on either side.
It's all right. I've forgotten something, and I just shut the door again. And I'm gonna walk back over to the mirror.
Mm-hmm.
It is in here, and I am essentially going to spend some time. And I know I just got cleaned up. I just went through this process, but that process was trying to essentially just become presentable again. I was intentionally avoiding looking at like the changes that have happened to him, and he's actually going to look at what he is and who he is. I just want to stare at the person that is in the mirror.
Arcane check.
21.
21. You definitely see the seeds of corruption that are taking hold of you physically, manifesting changes. You would not be terribly surprised, even in your cleaned up state, that small children really don't want a whole lot to do with you. There is something disturbing about your presence, even to yourself at this point, as you're honestly looking.
I think it becomes a matter of holding back what some of the emotions are that he's struggling with selfishly feeling sorry for himself. And then kind of swallowing this down and realizing that this was always the plan. Whatever the cost, whatever the price, decisions were to be made and to not look back. And if this is where he finds himself, he will make the most of it. And he puts on whatever regal demeanor he needs to hold to enter into this space, and I will march towards the door, and I will excuse myself, and I will make my way down to dinner for whatever social event is to come.
One of the last to arrive at the table. The other advisors for King George have also come to the table. Rose is back. And George, is there anything that you were doing in particular at this point, or you've returned to the table?
Yes, the one particular person that reported to me, I would say something to him before I go to the table. And once I see everyone there, and I whisper to him, so that I would know the name of the individual who miscommunicated my instructions.
So where you're sitting, Anna, George comes over and whispers something into Mirwin's ear, and he sets the wine down. He's like, "Yes, sir. I will find that information for you. Is there anything in particular you would like done?"
I want the name first, and then I'll go from there.
Yes, sir. We will have that taken care of for you.
Right. And I'll walk to, what's the setting like? As far as,
Originally, they had set the party members all to one side with your advisors all to the other side. But Anna has jumped seats and is now sitting on the advisor side next to Erwin, as the two of them are drinking
Power move.
glass for glass on wine.
Yes.
His bodyguard has sat down and changed seats to sit on the other side of Anna. So it's Anna with Lawrence and Mirwin there. The rest of the advisors have kind of shuffled around. Prior Mason is now sitting on the side with the party, looking at the vacant missing chair, which happens to be 3 down from him.
With a
big
bloody
fat-
nose.
With a big fat lip. No, he didn't have a bloody nose. He's got a nice big fat lip. That's very... He didn't have it when everybody broke up, but now that you're all back together again, he seems a tad bit changed.
It's rugs.
And you all notice that Mary is not at the table with you. You also do notice something else now that Skeech has had a chance to clean up. Skeech, would you describe yourself?
So this Skeech is led in by the people that you described, led in to bathe us and return us. I'm in like actual clothes that were prepared for me, and Skeech's his hair has been cleaned, and it's just small flecks of black and just a head of white hair as this old goblin is just walking up. And he's rubbing his hands as he hasn't slept in days at this point. He's got all these cuts on from the forge and everything, but he's just holding his right hand and just rubbing his palm, staring into it as he is sat down. And he looks up, just glances around the table.
Skeech look scared or upset.
Skeech looks tired.
George, take this off.
yeah, how does Yip Yip look?
How do you look, Yip Yip?
She is very sunken down in her seat now. Being carried in the way she does not like these people anymore. She's basically sitting like this, just one of her claws like tapping the table, and she's just kind of trying to not look like she's there at all.
Okay, who are you sitting next to?
Probably somewhere closer to Vaughn or Skeech.
Okay. So the first thing I notice is I see one of you has not come down yet. Is everything all right?
You tell us. I've already had one of your goons grab one of us.
Perhaps, Lawrence, you could go double check and see if she's okay.
I can check.
Oh, that would be better. Yeah.
Can I be excused?
And this is the part where you had authority to tell me to do that.
That's-
I'm missing
Double
Pepper Unit
fuck
for
it.
someone.
And then I look at Yip Yip. And you were sorely mistreated for whatever reason I do not understand. I would like to offer my condolences, my apologies. But you are welcome to this table, just as welcome as everyone else.
She sort of gave like a little meek little nod and tried to sit up a bit, but she's still clearly very shaky, and she's just like, I know, I just know that not a lot of humans know about us.
There's a lot of things that, as humans, don't know that we think we know. Which is why you and you are welcome at this table, as long as I am standing at this table. This was supposed to be a celebration. We were in need, and you came and you rose and you went above and beyond and met our need when we weren't able to do that. And we did not respond to you in the way that we should have, and for that, I apologize. That is all I will say on that for now. We all have our individual crosses to bear, our own individual stories. And we've been through a lot. And this is a time to come together. And I would like to take this opportunity to lay differences aside just for a moment. And celebrate the one victory that we did have, even though there are many more things to be faced ahead. So there's plenty of food. And then I raise a goblet. I noticed that you haven't come back yet. I try to stall until
All right.
he comes back.
As George begins having a conversation, you stalk back to where the rooms are, and there's still a guard outside of Mary's door. And as you walk up the door, he's like, "Oh, do watch yourself. The last person that came to visit left with a bit of bloody lip. Seems like she's quite a bit of a storm in there, sir."
I think you're ignorant to the situation. So
Oh, that's kind of rude.
I don't care.
Good luck to you. then.
I will verbally say knock, knock, knock as I.
Okay, I'm sure I'd recognize
There's not even a
his voice.
question in your mind at this point who it is.
Enter.
Don't say I didn't warn you, sir. And he closes the door behind you.
Mary?
Hi. I'm just like in a puddle on the floor.
Do I see Pavis's body?
Yeah, Pavis's body is laying very dignified as far as it being set down, but on the bed, and Mary is laying on the floor.
I can't leave him. I don't know what to do. And I feel awful. What do I do? Help me.
It's not our choice to make. I thought we failed him. But staring death in the face, it showed me life. Pavis is gone. But as long as we're alive, he can, in a way, still be with us. Every time we help another child try again, teach someone what we learned, that's Pavis. But it should hurt. You shouldn't ignore that, and you shouldn't push that away, because you don't have to do this alone. Pavis wanted our help, I think, because of not who we were, but our collective.
Yeah.
We kept each other safe, and he wanted to be a part of that. And we're not going to let anybody else slip out of that again.
Okay. I want to give Pavis a proper burial. I don't know where to do that. Castle grounds don't feel right.
What about by the tower, where we found him the second time?
Feels more appropriate.
Okay. We don't have to. They're waiting for us at the feast, but there
I
are
just
more
don't
important
feel
things.
like I can celebrate right now. Like, all I feel is this tremendous loss, and I can't eat, I can't drink, I can't put on a fake face for anyone right now. And I don't want to.
Can I suggest you don't? Whatever you're feeling, just be authentic. Let it happen. They shouldn't know we're celebrating. They should know that every single thing that they determine is a victory comes with tremendous loss. Damon sitting down there, I don't know what went through him, but he seemed angry. And Skeech seemed old.
What?
So
much has happened.
It's been
I don't think,
9,000 goblin
I think
years.
it's foolish how all these people in these towns put on these facades and they boast their titles above what they're actually feeling. That's weakness, not whatever you're showing.
Thank you.
But don't go by their schedule. Go when you're ready. I'm gonna go take a bath.
Yeah, it's probably a good idea.
Just have a lot of.
Do it. I'm gonna incite that.
It's a clown.
Well, it's hard to tell because he's clowning around so much.
Yeah, but there's patches of bear fur in it now.
Yeah, there's bear fur, and you just see like streaks where it's all like matted. There's blood and leaves in his hair.
What
It's the
have
most
you?
horrifying clown you've ever seen in your
It's
entire life.
in this season.
Dirt all over his fingers.
Have I missed something?
Like I said, I stared death in the face, and it showed me life. Okay.
I feel like you have a story to share with me at some point.
No.
Questioning our friendship.
You wouldn't understand. Just Ranger thing.
So you head to the table while after now goes down to his room to get a bath.
I mean, I would probably bathe first.
So now the two of you are having a bath. All right. So at this point,
Wash all that guilt off.
the two of you are now doing your bath and stuff like that. And George, the conversation is now kind of drug out to that point where you're like, I really got nothing left.
Yeah, right.
And
So-
everybody's just kind of staring at each other like, Should we not just go ahead and indulge at this point?
Okay, so that's enough of that. So they'll be down when they're ready, which is just as well, I suppose. I understand that a lot was sacrificed. And so I raise a goblet to you, and I acknowledge you, the heroes of Newtown, in recognition of your accomplishments and deeds, and in honor of your bravery and hard work. We appreciate the dedication, and we acknowledge the sacrifices that you made. You did return our lost citizens back to us, and also eliminating a powerful and formidable foe. And so to you, we honor and salute you. To the heroes of Newtown. And I'll raise a glass.
Vaughn kind of holds this as you kind of start to throw it back. I'm gonna get Tempest Winds back to Solomonians. To you, George. And you throw it back.
Some of the people throw it back. Some of the people stare at you, Ron, like. And George seems to be very confused at this moment.
There's an inmate next to me who seems like they're pausing. I just take their glass.
Yeah, I would like to take Merwin's glass, actually.
Which was actually the real long con here.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Anyone
Raises her
who
glass
has
and then
any
immediately puts it
association
back down because I don't think
with
she's allowed to drink.
the Dylanestra family would know that that is essentially their secondary motto, that time comes for all in the end, only deeds remain.
Ooh.
Then you would have definitely recognized that.
Heaviest.
So I do recognize that. So,
Cool.
indeed, nephew.
This
Um,
smelly one's good.
I would like to point out that Damon has not bathed, nor has he changed his clothes. So he's just sitting at this dinner table covered in his brother's blood.
At least one of the smelly ones is good. Any of the rest of you, like, do they all? Have you not taught them yet how to use a sponge or water?
I don't tell them what to do.
Well, you do
And
tell everybody else what to do for the most part.
I said what I said. I don't tell them what to do. And if I was you, my advice, I would not try to tell them what to do either. Because we do not take direction very well. Vaughn can vouch for that.
It's a challenge continually. And while this is happening, I have decided that I'm canonically sitting to Damon's side and I'm cutting up Damon's food. Because I do not know if Damon is in the place of mind to be able to like process through what is about to happen.
Or is he gonna feed him to you like a little?
Here comes the red dragon. I'm like starting to serve. I'm like bringing thing to Damon's plate first because Damon is what Damon just described.
I'm not touching it. I haven't touched my drink. I'm not touching the food. I am just staring just at a wall.
At a wall. You're not staring at the one right across from you, or?
No, I'm just staring at a wall. Like I'm not there.
So the abbot that's directly across from you was getting food and stuff until he noticed he was just making that 1,000-yard stare, and has since that point scooted his chair a couple inches to the left. Now beating into your eyes can drill into the wall, and
Perfect.
just that like he's just trying to make sure he's not in your
Appreciate
keeping your
that guy.
peripheral.
It's just convenient because I'm very much trying to avoid Damon's making eye contact with him.
Dear Miss Manners.
But other than that, I am just kind of I'm digging in.
Well, I never thought I would say this, but you're probably the most delightful company at this table.
I'm just gonna start chewing with my mouth wide open.
This is a delightful dinner party. I've attended. This is of all the dinner parties I have attended. This is one of them.
Yes. Your Majesty, you would not mind my being excused from the table here. Sorry. I will go and attend to the matter that you asked about earlier, and yes, I I do believe I'm a bit full at this point, sir. That's okay with you, sire. So Mirren stands up, and as he does, he reaches down and grabs his cloak and makes a big, huge show of throwing it over his shoulders. And as he turns about, you can see the cloak on and immediately recognize Cyprian's cloak that he's wearing. He fastens the little connector here. He said, "I bid you all a wondrous evening. Please do enjoy yourselves in the hospitality of our good king here." He and Lawrence walk out of the room.
I try and make eye contact with Lawrence as they leave to like ask about Cyprian.
He looks at you and taps onto his sheath, and you see his finger tracing a notch that's been cut into the sheath. And he kind of smiles at you as they step out the doors and they close behind them.
Ah. I see. And then she'll just also start staring at a wall.
Jerome.
Yes. Yeah. Actually, can I stare directly at the abbot?
Nowhere safe, bud.
At this point, the little old man that is barely holding it together because of Damon looks over and suddenly notices you staring as well. And there's really nowhere for him to go, because if he goes this direction, he's going to be right back into Damon's line of sight. He can't go this direction because, well, there's somebody else sitting next to him there, and you're both staring at him, and he is shaking as he's trying to bring his fork up to his mouth.
Checkmate.
What did it roll?
Knock it off the edge.
Nothing? Okay, so no dot. So he does manage to not stab himself with the fork or anything else along those lines, but this old man is basically just terrified at this point in time. The two of you, not quite sure what he's done to earn the ire of the two of you, but he will be dreaming about this horrible eating probably for the rest of his life.
Join the club, buddy.
Yes. The one that has already been threatened by your clown, and
Is everyone?
and is now being menaced.
Oh, God.
So,
So the other end of the table, it's King Georgia, then it's the advisor.
There's
These
the-
are Concordance
yes,
advisors.
there's the abacus who's here. There is Envoy Prior Mason, who's down at the far end of the table away because his seat was already taken. And then you also have the abacus, the abbot. You have the Greavesman that's here. And Lawrence and Mirwin have already left. And then there is another advisor that has a different house symbol on him from the Concordance here.
Do I recognize the house symbol?
It's the Gallifrey, and they're the other one of the other major controlling houses.
Looks like we've assembled quite the group of important people from the Concordance of the Silver Plains. I visited there a few times. Didn't quite get much of a sense of the political structure, but who's running the show over there currently? Cats, dogs living together, pandemonium.
Would you clarify your question there? Who's running the show?
Well, sure is nice of all of you to come here to Granitegard to help us with our business. I'm wondering who is in charge of the Concordance while y'all are here.
All the heads of houses are currently in charge, so we're just appointed envoys to represent our house's interests.
Oh, so they sent I'm looking at King George and not him. So they sent the lackeys here to mind you. Is that what's going on?
Yes.
Better a lackey than a charlatan. At least one of us has some sort of moral integrity.
Which one is that?
Maybe you should decide on that.
I make no apologies for who I am, what I've done. I've made peace with it. I live for myself and I serve no one.
Yes. Wondrous. Thank you. Most inspiration. That's made me a song, please.
Oh, I think that this is sufficiently awkward. I think it's time for us to get down to business. Don't you think?
Echo and Mary come walking out of the hallway there, both looking clean. The first time you have seen Echo this clean ever, including the first night that you met him before all the adventures. He was a little ripe, but now you actually see his true skin color and complexion. His hair doesn't have any sticks and leaves in it.
He's got it tied up in a bun.
Is the guard still
Gives me a
outside my
pause.
door?
When you left?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Because I would have given him a very stern warning that if anyone goes in or touches Pavis, I will personally call down the heavens myself to smite him after I give him a new face.
You can see that he has the rose on him, and he looks over to you and he says, Paladin Kraslor was very much an important figure in my life as I grew up, and to serve you, the daughter of Paladin Kraslor, would be quite an honor. I will assure you, no one will pass through this door, and I will put my life on that.
I was not expecting that at all. Okay then.
You can see
Thank you.
And off you go.
It's easier when they're just all flunkies.
His
Again.
name and a face.
Will you hold my hand?
Yeah.
Okay.
Two of them re-enter into the room as the palpable tension pretty much smacks the two of you in the face, looking at everybody at the
lovely.
table. You have Anna and Damon that look like they're trying to do what the Colossus did to the one wall, but just with visually at this point. But on their two focal points between them seems to be this little old man that is literally shaking himself to pieces at this point. And you're pretty sure somebody may have to perform some sort of resuscitation on him before the night's over, because his heart may stop at any moment.
Please look elsewhere from this direction then, because I don't know.
There
I
are
will be
two
with you
seats that are
guys.
currently open, and both of them are next to Prior Mason. And he's looking at the two of you as you have come in, and he's looking about the table, and he gets up, walks all the way over to next to Anna, and sits down where Mirun was. And he
good
looks over
plan.
at you as you're staring at the wall. He's like, grabs Mirun the glass of wine, looks at it, empties it, grabs the mug, fills it up, and takes a very large swig of wine.
I will sit down next to Ehko, and I saw Fire Mason move.
That
I
was
will
kind of him.
look over to him. Something happened to your face. You should probably get that checked out.
Yes.
It appears he's suffered blunt trauma.
It appears so. And I just kind of chuckled to myself. Getting some meat.
Oh, now we're having fun. As I was saying, so we've done what you asked us to do. We've rooted out a evil organization, which was surely a thorn in your side. We had our own reasons as well. And where do we go from here? Will we be free to leave after this evening is done?
You're free to leave now.
I stand up and I walked out.
I also stand up and I walk out.
As you can see, my friends are very eager to leave. I suppose I should ask the next question, which is, after we leave here, well, are you going to pursue us? Will we be looking over our shoulders?
If you're looking over your shoulders, it will be nothing from me that you will find.
I'm less concerned about you, Your Highness, and these men across the table. I look at the abbot and the prior. These men burn people at the stake for doing some of the things that some of us can do, as well as simply existing. Folks like my friend Skeech, who has just left. So you can forgive me if I don't feel confident that we will be unmolested once we are going about our daily business.
Is there something you will require of me?
Keep your attack dogs off of us. Because we have higher purpose here. And our affairs will not be meddled with, or there will be dire consequences.
Are you threatening our king?
I am not threatening the king or you, merely an observation. We come at the protection of the one God. He works through me and through us. And we need to make sure that we can carry on our tasks. That's all.
That's not exactly correct, but
So what say you?
I'm sorry, you said something?
uh,
You're free to speak, just as free as anyone else.
I apologize.
No need to apologize.
Unlike the other people in my party, I do not know much about any of the groups in human society since I have lived in away from, well, under Granitegard my whole life. So, would someone mind telling me who these people are?
Well,
So I just list,
You have the abacus, who's basically overseeing all the financial affairs. You have the advisor from Gallifrey, who is helping George set everything in motion here. You have Mirwin, who appears to us be another advisor, but more in a military capacity. Lawrence, who appears to be his bodyguard. You have the envoy, Prior Mason, who's from the church, their representative here.
The one with the busted lip.
The one's busted lip. You have the gravesman, who appears to be the police in town. And then you have the abbot, who is the gentleman that runs their church here in town.
I don't know much about how you humans run things. I don't remember much before Granitegard fell. I am not as old as some of you here. But I do know that a number of these people are making my companions uncomfortable. At the very least, that is easy for me to tell. As she takes a glance, looking to Anna and Mary, who clearly aren't in the best of moods, then a glance over to Reverend, and what he had said earlier. Clearly seeming even more uneasy at the whole burning at the stake.
It's probably gonna be fine. Yeah.
well, as I said, we have
let me stop you there, Reverend. You seem to be very intelligent.
Oh, well, I think
And
you noticed.
I have 2 eyes, so I do see. I also have 2 ears, so I do hear. Believe me when I say I understand. And I know more than you think. But I am not presenting myself to you as an enemy. I simply wanted to honor you. This political setting is exactly what it is. But it has nothing to do with my heart or what I meant to do, what my purpose was. My purpose was to see it through. There are other things at work here that can be discussed at another time. I simply wanted to find a way to let you know that you were appreciated for your sacrifices and for all the work that you put in. And I understand and I respect and I know of the losses that you have experienced. Maybe the timing of this was not as well thought out, but the intention was to just bring you together, sit, rest, reflect. You'll have time to mourn, and then there'll be time to move on. I understand you have other things at stake. I have no problem with that. I just wanted to meet you and honor. That was my only intent. I will not speak for them. I did not send, I did not ask for it. But they're here. Part of the cross that I have to bear. And then I look at each individual one, trying to seek out if I can find out who mistreated you.
Well,
But
none of them seem to have been the ones that did it. The one that directly did it is standing behind you.
well, directly here, that's another lip. Yeah. All right.
Well, then we take your, I take your words at face value. Then the best way that you can honor us is to leave us to our tasks. Like I said, we will go our separate ways, and we would ask to be left alone. And without putting too fine a point on it, what I mean is no Concordance forces marching up to our tower, and no more giant people busting through walls, kidnapping our friends.
And perhaps one other small item. I do have a debt to be settled, and if I could pay it off, could you get me my collateral?
What debt is this you speak of?
Well, it's simply my father in his pursuit of restoring Granitegard to its original glory. Maybe you ran into him in the Concordance, but he tried to raise funds and troops, and in it he racked up quite a debt. And I'm hoping we have the opportunity to make good on that, but
Your father.
yes. Oh, Mark ad Nostrum? About this tall.
What does the name mean?
Well, in the Concordance area,
Liar.
quite an upstart. Always pestering and bothering people to try to fund an expedition back to Granitegard, saying that he could figure out what had happened and that he knew a way to stop them. Basically, was laughed at and rejected by anybody that had any connections. Never got to see you, but while you were in the Concordance, the only familiarity you have is that he was a major importer-exporter that sometimes would have the ear of the king. It's not it's the ear of the sovereign. But outside of that, not a whole lot.
Maybe that's something we could look into and perhaps work something out.
Please, it would mean the world to me if my siblings were safe, and honestly would make it so much more effective in stopping the whatever we're doing that is secret. Yes.
Were we aware that you had? We didn't know that your siblings are here. Okay.
I don't. Were they? Was that mentioned when I think they
No,
were
I
out
don't-
serving
I
wine.
don't
Okay.
think-
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think we
Yeah.
knew.
I will look further into this.
Thank you.
I assure you, though you may not be comfortable, and whatever you may be thinking, I am not your enemy. I see you as my first and my priority is to the people of Granitegard. But I see the hope in their eyes when you are around. And I'm acknowledging that. And I'm not forgetting that. And I'm making a note of that. And so there's something greater at hand, at work. I understand. I don't know if our paths will cross again, but know that I mean you no harm. And if you need anything from me, you can come to me. If you're not comfortable here today, I apologize for the timing. You're free to go. And with that, I stand up.
Before everyone else leaves, all of the politics aside here, all of the complicating factors removed, I would like to thank all of you. I'm standing here today because you came down. So, thank you.
That, oh, cheers to. Also the other things, but that too.
Dusty, you finish your wine glasses. Outside, Skeech and Damon are standing in the cold. What are the rest of you all doing at this point?
Yip hasn't touched her wine glass.
Okay.
You got any to-go cups? You know what? I'm just gonna take.
Yeah, we should just take the bottle.
I'm just gonna take that.
Would you want mine?
Yeah, I'll take that. You're too young for that anyway. You don't want to. You shouldn't touch it.
You guys grab the pitchers off the table.
We're already taking doggy bags back.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta stay away from this stuff. It's,
I think Mary was just filling her plate up too
drank
at this
a lot
point.
of it.
Nobody had a chance to eat it. So you guys just take that
I have a high
to
constitution.
go order? All right.
Pretty sure it's mine.
As we all start to take to-go bags and are leaving this place, does Rose look as though she is looking to move, get up, and leave?
She is interested in having a conversation with you.
Yvonne has been attempting to avert his gaze from you for most of the evening.
Yeah.
In maybe a not so pointed way as burrowing through the wall, but still powerful.
Sure.
So now I'm going to assume that you go and you collect your doggy, not just a doggy bag, and you're going to
It's kind of back.
bring your additional cargo with you too, correct? Then you hand off your plate to somebody.
Sure.
All right. So gently you scoop up Pavis's body and come back out of your room. Sky is following along behind Ehko, and all of you step out of the great house, past the guards and into the night. And we're going to take a break here, and we'll come back after our break and continue on with this evening's episode. So don't go anywhere, and we'll see you shortly. Now, how about all that?
Oh my
We'll do it
And
live.
welcome back to the break there. When we had last left off, our party had resolved the world's most enjoyable dinner party ever. As they step out onto the porch, they can see Damon still staring off into the night. Skeech has leaned his little body up against Damon and is resting his little head. He's got one ear still poking up, the other one's kind of crushed down a little bit. And snow has been stacking up on Skeech's little head as they've been out there for several minutes at the very least. Where are you all going currently?
Do I notice that Skeech is like asleep?
Yes.
I think finally for the first time I would reach out to my right hand and give it a rub because it's been throbbing and aching the entire meal. And now that Skeech is asleep, I don't have to worry about Skeech seeing me noticing it.
Where are you?
Walking out last.
Actually, at this point, everybody's standing on the basically the porch, the front of the great house there underneath the awnings. There are several guards posted out front that are looking at the party. And friends have not moved very much.
Oh, I imagine that they were waiting for us to leave.
It's kind of creepy almost. That one doesn't move at all.
What heraldry are they wearing?
They're both wearing the rose.
We've had a very, very trying day. I don't know if I would call it weird or strange, but it's what they needed, and I'm glad they took some time. Thank you for having us, and I believe we'll be out of your hair now.
Rather you in there than us. You have a good night, sir.
So true.
Before we get out of range, Allie, do you remember the two children that you saw who were serving wine? Could you send a message to them?
I can, but you're gonna have to tell me who they are.
They're my younger brother and sister. And I might have just promised them that I would never have left them, and we are in the process of leaving. So maybe would you just mind sending them a message and saying like, ha ha ha, we'll be right back. Don't worry.
Wait a minute. Why didn't you tell us while we were inside?
What were we gonna do? Take on the whole Concordance?
Maybe. I don't know. I don't plan things out that far ahead.
Me neither.
Do we hear this? I like to
Yeah. Yes.
before.
Yeah.
I know confirmed.
Even the two guards have leaned forward at this point as well, like,
What's
This is true.
don't take on the whole Concordance.
on?
There's a lot of...
Yeah, I know, and more on the way, apparently.
Oh, wait.
10,000 more on the way.
10,000.
10,000. Yeah, Merwin was very proud.
Maybe they should. Why? If they have 10,000, maybe they should be the ones taking on the Queen of Darkness. At least marching some of their soldiers into the city.
I don't
think that'll go well.
Well, it won't go well for them, but at least it'd be a nice distraction for us.
That's a very good point, actually. We should consider that. Yes.
Anyway, if you tell me we're not going in there to try to get your siblings, that's fine, but I'll send a message to them.
For now, until we can come up with a plan. Or I can pay the debt and they can go free.
Debt?
How much is the debt?
How much is the debt?
You're not quite sure how much the debt is.
Great. Okay, I'm going to take the number and I'm going to double it for room and
probably about
board.
14,000.
15,000?
14, conservative gold. Great. Conservatively, about 15,000 if we round up for room and board and education.
Education.
Oh, well, you know, they'll tack on a charge for anything.
128.
Yes, I have 57.
So,
Oh.
just point of order, we are not gonna go rushing there. Because hearing about this makes me want to.
Do you... Yip, I know this is a tremendous... You have so much responsibility, but do you... Could I borrow such a sum from you?
How much is that?
It's quite a bit, even by the standards that you have set for yourself. It's possible that you may have it back with the others. I do not believe you have that left currently with what you brought with you.
No, I know I didn't carry that much with me.
Yes, and
Can I ask 14,000 of what though?
gold.
Gold.
Yes.
That's the shiny yellow one.
Yes, exactly.
Yes. Can we check that when we're back then? Because as long as me and the kobolds and everyone has food, then I don't really see a use for us. It's just shiny pretty things for us.
Of course, of course. I mean, there's a lot we could do with that money, and it's only 2 lives. But
They're your family.
They do. It would mean a great deal to me.
I've spent money on a lot more foolish things. Saving family.
Well, thank you all.
Should we figure out how much we need first, or?
I think they'll be safe. They'll be safe for now. They'll be okay, and when we come back, we'll do it then.
You don't sound that sure of that.
It's not looking great, honestly. Yep. It looks like it's probably going to be really, 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 really bad. Merwin said that their lives were basically in danger if I didn't take this deal from him. But, I think it's going to be fine. Yeah.
There's like a moment where Vaughn is going to like almost like attempt to reach out and try to calm you and will like stop and not touch you.
Yep would try to take your hand though.
Here you go. Yep. It's going to be fine. It's going to be fine.
If I may interject.
Yeah.
Anna. Reverend, would you be so kind as to send a message to King George, and with your permission, explain what it is you've just shared, and I will take out the message that you already have that had been sent to me from King George. And I would explain, while I do not trust what is happening here with the political scape, and I do not trust the individuals that sat next to George, I spoke with the man. He will do anything in his power to keep them safe while we are gone. That's not a certainty. He's not all powerful.
Okay. But that's so much more than they have. Please do this. Yes.
All right. Well, that's going to be easier for me to talk to George because I know who he is, so I can usually get through walls and such. Your siblings, it might be harder to do because I don't know where they are, and I've never spoken with them before.
Well, their safety is first. False comfort can come later. Thank you, Allie.
Let's still not use that name.
What
please.
name?
It's the Goodberries, thank you. So I take a swig from a bottle, but I put that down, and then I take a piece of copper wire, I wrap it around my finger, and pull it across, and whisper into it. George should hear a little whisper in his ear. Hello there, King George. This is the Reverend Goodberries. Now, I'm speaking to you from a distance. It's one of my special talents.
Who's is?
It's me, the Reverend Goodberries.
Oh,
Of course. Of course. Is it restricted to?
What?
We don't worry about that in this game.
and he doesn't get. As the
It doesn't say.
That's sending.
That's sending.
Okay.
No, this has distance and other things we got.
All right, so you got the magic walkie-talkie going.
Yeah, that's what it is. George, I heard.
Just let me hold on. Just give me a moment. You were just at the table with us,
The room
right?
full of people are all staring at you right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, George, if you're in a room with other people, just act cool. Act cool. I mean, you're cool, right?
I am cool.
Yeah. All right.
But you all don't understand it's the other conversation that's happening right now that George is a part of. So continue.
All right, so now just whisper, just whisper. Here's the trick. Just take your glass, act like you're taking a drink, kind of whisper into it. I do it all the time. All right, now what I've heard that you made a deal with Vaughn. That you will keep, and I'm calling on you to honor the deal that you made. Keep Anna's siblings safe. All right. We beg you.
Alexander and Ivanka. Sorry.
Oh, Alexander and Ivanka are their names.
Yeah.
They're two of the servants.
Ask how much the pet is.
Mm-hmm. We're coming back for them, but we need to know that they're safe for now.
What kind of conversation am I in right now?
Really intense conversation.
Really intense conversation. Is there a window?
Not down here on this first level.
Not in the first level.
But I mean, you could grab a glass and do what the Reverend said.
Am I sitting down?
I'm not hearing anything from him. I don't know if he's like
Yes, you are sitting down.
thinking it over.
Okay. So
It's a lot to take in.
Yeah.
I slam my fist on the table and I stand up and I walk to the nearest corner.
Okay.
This feels right.
Yeah, this does.
He probably startled everyone in that
He
room.
calls this king time.
You are too much. I need a moment. And I walk to the corner.
Reverend, you hear, you are too much, and I need a moment.
Wait, how many times has Reverend heard that in his life?
He's not wrong.
In a respectful tone.
Time two.
What are the names again?
Alexander and Ivanka.
Alexander and...
They should be servant children, and probably see him hanging around that creep Merwin.
That's a disparaging remark.
And I would say more, but this is a PG-13 stream.
Get one.
Is that the... After this, you'll not get off of my head?
Well,
Oh, that's the worst thing.
I'm always going to be living rent-free in your head, King George. Once you meet the Reverend Goodberries, it's hard to get me out of there. But no, I won't send you any more messages once I get a few more feet away.
I will do my best.
I can't probably insight him from 100 feet away. All right. I'll take it. Bye.
You make a clicking sound.
Yeah. Just roll up the string and put it in my pocket.
Thank you both so much. That's more than I hoped for. I didn't even know that they were alive, and thank you.
Well, this is good news, at least.
Yeah. Yes, it is. It's very good news.
Two guards are choked up at this point in time. We hope we get her back.
Kill Merwin.
Should we? How much should we bring back? We don't know the exact amount, right?
We'll figure that out on the way. I mean, there's the interest, there's the 5%, like, the housing fee. So we'll run the numbers. We'll figure it out.
I
don't
understood
worry.
none of that.
Yeah.
I don't.
It's not a now decision. If it's something that... What matters is that they are safe. We will
I don't want to sound
cross that
insensitive.
bridge when we need to.
Sorry. I don't want to sound insensitive asking this question, but how many times have you seen people buy their way out of indentured servitude?
Never. Right. Well, I've won once, because Cyprian did it.
Actually, a lot of people like to go to the arenas to try to get their debt resolved because people win their freedom in the arena.
So, but that's a hard row for an 11-year-old to hoe. So I don't hold out a lot of hope for them in the arena. But
I just asked because we need to be prepared for
I don't think that.
we pay this sum, they don't want to give them back. And then that's when the bombs start coming out.
Yes.
Sleeping.
Then that's when the swords start coming out.
Or fire.
That too.
Or both. Let's do both.
What matters is we take care of your siblings, and we will get them.
Yes.
Maybe you should have this conversation not on the front porch of King George.
You're right.
I mean, we've been enjoying it thus far, so thank you for the
Great.
entertainment.
Of course. And for, legal purposes, this was all a joke.
Will bread be available on Monday by chance?
We'll see.
Oh, that'd be fantastic. Good luck, Miss Rose.
Is Damon still like sitting? Are you
Damon
still sitting on the
and
ground?
Skeech have neither moved.
Okay. I would like to walk over to Damon and kind of like kneel down in front of you.
So he's standing.
Oh, I thought you.
So Skeech is leaning up against him
Oh, okay.
and has more snow piled up on him at this point.
Okay.
Damon's
Well-
just got the 1,000-yard stare looking out into the city.
And no snow is touching.
It's afraid.
I have like a
It's Canada.
wet
The
cloth
place.
napkin in my hand from the table. I poured water on it, and I'm just gonna come to you. May I?
I don't say anything.
Okay, I'm just gonna kind of like gingerly, like gently start wiping your face a little if you'll
The
let
moment
me.
you do that, I just grab your hand and I just put it down and I just continue to stare.
I know that you've undergone a tremendous loss, and I think that a lot of us have experienced similar loss, and it is, you can't replace family. But I just want you to know that we're here for you, and I'm glad that you're with us. And if there's anything, I mean, I'm a healer, and I know that I can heal bodies, but I can't heal trauma and hearts. But I just want to acknowledge that I see your pain, and I'm here for whatever that's worth.
I don't respond.
Okay.
Just on. I'm assuming at some point we're gonna start heading back, but when we.
I don't know. It looks like you all might be here all night.
Yeah.
On the porch.
Can't find Skeech.
Yeah.
Very.
Yip's gonna head over to Ehko and just kind of.
I held on to it for you.
Thank you.
I figured you wanted it back.
You're hanging the keystone right out
Yeah,
here.
no. It's wrapped up.
Oh,
it's
it's
like,
wrapped up. Okay.
It's wrapped up in all her little. It's like wrapped up in a little wrapping, and it has like a little kind of bow tied on it. She made it all pretty looking.
It was my birthday.
Ooh, happy birthday.
And he'll hold it up and go, seriously though, thank you so much. I
still
won't
have-
forget this
I still have to ask about it later, but
anytime.
All right, shall we go?
I wake up Skeech.
Ow.
I'm gonna gingerly start to scoop off the mound of snow.
Do they look cold, the two of them? Like, are they visibly shivering or anything like that?
Yes.
Damon looks cold in multiple different ways.
Okay. I will remove my Cloak of the Tundra, Survival's Cloak, which is basically a medieval winter coat, and I will drape it over the two of you guys.
Swallows up Skeech real nice.
And that should protect you from snow and water. And you can turn white now. If you would like.
Yes.
Well, Skeech, I walk over to him and I touch his back and the a 1 cubic foot of your dress material gets warm like a.
It's like a third of me.
Yeah, I know that's because you're tall. I get more bang for my prestidigitation buck.
Yeah.
It's like you have like one of those like hand warmers, and I just kind of shove it in the back of your hot hands. I shove it in the back of your shirt.
The sudden heat just ignites, and I just see
Time to walk, Skeech.
Mary and Vaughn in front of us. Where are we going now?
I believe we're going now.
We're going back to the tower.
May I join you?
I hope so.
Yeah, 'cause you have some tricks that I would be very interested to hear about.
Perhaps at the tower.
Off you guys go.
One
Finally. The guard's like,
Damn.
goodbye. I really think we bonded with them. Yeah, they shared some new secrets with us on it.
Oh, I hope you
I think
know.
we've gained their trust.
Hope you know.
We've assimilated into the cat.
Yip Yip did give the two of them a little gift.
Oh.
It was just a little shiny coin with like a piece of string around it. It was just a. It was,
You open yours and the keystone's not there. What is this?
Hey, I think we can roll this. If the glowy things come up, we win, right?
Oh, God.
You will not remember this.
Their souls are
no, it's
immediately
just
sucked
a
into it.
little coin with a bit of string tied on it.
I took a 3-4 minute nap. I get coat warmed, brush snow, coins in the face.
Speech is overwhelmed. And
I pass back out.
I didn't put any coins in your face. I gave you
I'd like to ask,
$1.
now that we're moving, where are we heading to as a party, please? You're heading back to the garrison tower?
Yes.
Yeah.
I want to leave
It's
Newtown.
time to go to bed.
Yeah.
Out of the gates,
Yeah.
you all travel. You're not prevented in any way, shape, or form. They are sealed when you guys get there, but as you're approaching, they do open the gates for you. And out after you leave, the gates close. And the guards are watching, but nobody is interfering with your progress. Out onto the main road you come, and down to the tower. You all see there's nothing that impedes your journey. It's cold, and one of the nice things about that is the ground has frozen over a bit on the surface. So it's not as muddy, which makes the progress to the tower easier than having to go through into the shambles and then across that way. So you make it to there much faster than before. As you all are arriving towards the tower, you can see excitement going on as they call out. You hear them saying, "Oh, they returned, they returned." And they open the gates, and you can see several people rushed out to greet you there. And they can tell immediately as you all come into the light that something is very different. They can see that Mary is bringing forth a body with her. And immediately the excitement dies away as the people kind of step back, and they're nodding that you're returned, but all the excitement and energy has kind of died away as you all step into the garrison tower, and the gates close up behind you, the portcullis drops, and you're now standing in the courtyard of the garrison tower at this point. Is there anything that we can do for you, sire?
If there were to be any festivities, excitement, meals prepared this evening, may I ask that we postpone them?
Please don't take this the wrong way, sir. We weren't expecting your return. Everyone's pretty much eaten. If you are hungry, we can provide.
No.
Just to your chambers, then?
I
Do you
think
need any... Would Miss Mary need...
Some shovels, please.
Very good, very good. We can certainly supply those for you. Would you need any additional assistance past that? Anything we can do for
Perhaps
you?
some torches.
And people begin to scatter off to gather the items that you've asked. There's still several that are around that you could request anything else from the rest of you if there's something that you wanted.
Mary,
Yes.
a lot of these people knew Pavis. I think we might want to keep this a private affair, but I think we should let them give their respects if they'd like to.
Anyone who would like to pay their respects to Pavis may. That's fine.
Would I have any kind of seed or anything from the tree from where I'm from?
Absolutely.
Okay.
You have one.
That's all I need.
A few moments later, several people return with shovels and torches and such. And, like, begging your pardon, there has been some questioning as to whom you wish to bury. We're more than happy to assist. But would we be able to inquire as such?
I'd love to marry.
The body is Pavis.
And there's visible shock from the people around. And they're like, he's been gone for several days, but it's not uncommon for him to be gone. It's kind of what he does. And he usually comes back with supplies and such. That is... Yes. Did you wish? We could bury him within the confines of the garrison here, but that's quite a bit of stonework to turn up. If you desire, there is a small post right here that looks like they have buried several soldiers in the past. Would you like to intern him with those souls?
Do we want to bury him with soldiers or
With heroes of
somewhere
Granitegard?
isolated?
Seems fitting.
Okay.
Thank you. And they are basically kind of waiting on you. Do you want us to help you carry the body, or how would you wish to do this, ma'am?
I think we can handle that part.
And at this point, several people have run off, and others have joined it, and you have a much larger crowd. Probably at this point, 20 or 30 people have turned out. More people have brought shovels as well. And they begin to file out ahead of you all, heading over. And the lead man turns back to you and says, if you would not mind, give us, I would say within the hour, we can have everything prepared to bury him appropriately. It is good to dig down to appropriate depth to keep animals in such a way, and gather the proper stones and such to enter him with that. Is there anything we can do while you wait? Do you find those arrangements acceptable? We don't want to step on your toes. You are probably the expert in this field. Yes.
I think I would like to help shovel.
Very good. Whom would you like to
Reverend,
maintain the body?
would you mind?
Doing what?
Can you hold him while I shovel?
Oh. Yes. I will.
Reverend, you take the surprisingly light but stiff body into your arms, and it's the first time the moment really strikes home for you about the situation, about Pavis really being gone at that moment. Before it was an abstract, it was something else, but now as you're holding the body, it's very concrete and very real for you. And Mary departs and joins the crew that is digging the grave for Pavis. And the work is strenuous, digging that deep down, but there's something very satisfying taking that active measure and digging the grave for Pavis, and then you help them align the rocks within the base. And when you step back out, again, you're covered in dirt, your muscles do ache, but again, there's something almost satisfying, almost cleansing, so to speak, of this exercise. And into the courtyard, one of them runs and says, we do believe we're ready for the body. At that point, Reverend, you're carrying Pavis out, I'm assuming. The rest of the people that were not involved in digging the grave kind of line in behind the party themselves. Are any of you not coming to the grave, or what are you doing at this point in time? Vaughn?
I'd like to be present, but I would not like to be in any type of focal point.
So you're standing back out of the graveyard once you arrive?
Yes.
All right. How's it, Anna?
I'll be staying I'm gonna be also standing sort of on the back of the crowd, but near Damon if he's there.
Damon, you're going along.
Mm-hmm.
Skeesh.
I'm going to be there. I assume with Yip Yip, and I'm gonna just have my hand on her shoulder.
Two of you all kind of cozy up next to each other, trying to keep each other a tad bit warm. You do notice that one section of Skeech's jacket seems to be a lot warmer than any other section. Ehko, what are you doing?
Similarly, if Mary looks like she's having a difficult time, supportive hand on the shoulder.
So you go to one side, and to the other side, Sky cozies up to where Mary is and presses in, but not really pressing weight on you, but almost one of those things where it makes your weight kind of shift onto her, on the broad shoulders that she has there. Reverend, the crowd parts as you walk forward to the grave. Several men are there. They look at you like, we can lower the body down, sir, if you'd like.
Be
careful. And with the utmost respect for the body, they lower Pavis's tiny frame into the hole and step back. And either of you wish to say something?
I'm going to ask Reverend to pray with me. And One God, we're here to lay Pavis down to rest, and I think we're grateful to have known him and grateful that we could be together to honor him. And it's just a tragedy that it was so young. But I think that this is a peaceful place, and hopefully he can find the well-deserved rest. Anybody else have anything?
Anyone else like to say anything for Pavis? Ehko.
I'll say something. I thought when we met Pavis that he was going to be like us one day. And while that's hard to think about now, I think we should also appreciate what we did for him, what he did for us. He was a source of hope in a place otherwise bleak, and he was constantly a reminder of life where we sought out death. Pavis didn't deserve what happened to him, but his spirit will be carried through everything we do from here on out, and it will not be forgotten. And at this point, Ehko brandishes the seed that fell from the now destroyed mother tree from his monastery, and he will kneel down and set it in the grave next to Pavis. When this grows, everyone who enjoys its shade and its fruits, or if nothing else, just a place to lean against in the summer, they'll be experiencing a little bit of the happiness that Pavis provided to all of us. And it's a reminder that life is a circle, and what we choose to do with it, if we choose positive actions, if we choose to let go of anger that drives us to hurt others, that comes back around. And I want to thank Pavis for that. And he'll get ready to essentially when everything is finished, magically grow the tree.
Anyone else?
I know I really don't big place to say anything here. I'm not really used to how you all handle your dead. Where I'm from, we rarely have anything left when we say goodbye to somebody.
And I'll just kind of drift over to Damon with my glance.
But what we do is we build a fire and we tell stories. I didn't really know a lot about Pavis, but I do remember when he stole a bunch of stuffed animals and brought them back here for all the kids that are still here.
Everybody that's looking at the crowd of people here can see the kind of confusion on their faces.
But I think it's important to put things in perspective of why we're doing what we're doing and understanding that the road's going to be very hard for a lot of reasons ahead, but it's important what stays behind.
Several members of the garrison tower here come by and set things into the hole. Seems to be some of his possessions and things that he might have had left in the tower. They all kind of say something kind of real quiet down to the body itself as they say goodbye and step away. Anyone else?
Having probably been at many burials at this site, I would approach the grave and do something customary, which I'll make up. I'll toss a gold into the hole. And all of you, I was in close proximity with Pavis only once, when we were both used as bait to bring you underground. And Pavis is perhaps the youngest hero to grace these grounds. He was a good friend to you all. He didn't deserve this lot.
Well, that's everyone. Pavis, you now add your light to that of the one God. May Pavis be a beacon to us all. As Ehko said, we have to think of him and don't let his death be in vain. So it is done.
You begin to respectfully shovel the dirt back into the hole. It takes time. I don't know how long you all are going to stand around to fill the hole back up, but once they get that done, there's a layer of rocks that are placed on top of that to help seal things in and prevent the animals from getting in there. And slowly people begin to turn and shovel off. Every now and then somebody will put a hand on one of your shoulders and then head back into the garrison. The joy seems to be sucked out. There is one small conversation where you hear is like, bring back the toys. Bringing back any toys. You disappeared at the fair, I thought. Shh. Don't bring that up.
After everyone has left, Ehko will kneel over the rocks and just dig his hand into the soil and just mutter a few words under his breath, thanking Pavis, and he will cast Barbed Bloom to get this seed to sprout into a sapling. I think it should be strong enough to survive in the winter, but maybe a little magic will help.
No, nothing's to happen at the moment, though. And take it one by one, you all shuffle off. Back to your rooms, that sort of thing.
I'm gonna head up to the roof.
Okay.
I actually, yeah. Sleep. Gonna ask, do you want to have a fire? Well, as Skeech was saying, when they don't have physical remains left, the goblins had a fire and told stories. So maybe not tonight, but whenever you're ready and you want, we can have a blaze, and maybe you can tell me about your brother.
Yes, maybe.
Maybe. All right.
So Damon goes to the top of the tower. Reverend, where are you heading?
Now that I see that Damon is not going to our bunk bed, I go immediately to, I'm not avoiding you, but
You're avoiding me?
kind of avoiding. I go to the, sleeping area and climb to the top of the bunk bed and just try to be alone.
All right.
So, not good at it.
Ehko, what are you doing?
I'm going to return to the sleeping area and just kind of pet Sky, but I'm more focused on the keystone that has been returned to me. I'm just kind of holding it in my hand, feeling the weight of it, and remembering the responsibility that it has.
May I ask if you have unwrapped the, have you unwrapped it?
Yes.
There's a piece of paper tucked in with it.
That's probably not important.
I think it's fine.
Enjoy that.
Thank you.
It's all the notes that she wrote down about it.
Ooh.
Interesting.
And Yip, what are you doing at this point in time?
I'm not even sure what she'd want to do. Probably just sit and try to calm down for now. It's been a
Are
very,
you up in the
very
rest
rough
area, or are you down in the garrison proper?
Probably in the garrison proper. She's not that tired right now.
Let's go over to the dining area with the big fireplace. It's quiet in there for the most part. There are a couple people that don't know, walk in and eat a late supper. Some checkers going on, a bit of cards, but mostly everybody's pretty quiet. And those that are playing those games are kind of almost doing it as a distraction to handle what's going on here. Did start at the wrong place, though. I'm going to ask Rose, what are you doing at this moment?
Following Vaughn, wherever Vaughn goes.
So Rose is going after Vaughn. We're going to move back over to Skeech. What are you doing at this moment?
I'm going to the rest area and I'm going to get into my bed
Okay.
instead of underneath the bed.
Breaking
and
with traditions.
As I'm like laying over on my side, I'm gonna again look down at my palm and move my thumb away and see an open wound as I'm just staring into it.
Mm-hmm. Anna?
Anna's also going to head back up to the rest area, but we have a fireplace up there,
A very
right?
large fireplace. up
Great.
there.
Okay, and so I'm just going to hang out in front of there with one of the pitchers of wine that we took from dinner. And that while
Be a
staring,
shame.
yeah, right. While staring into the flames and just wondering about how much like my father I really am, and how his sins have carried down.
Mary?
So Mary feels like she really wants to be a service right now to her friends. So she's gonna go make 9 cups of tea, put it on a platter, and go upstairs and find everyone and hand out hot tea with honey.
And Vaughn, what are you doing?
Vaughn had intentionally stayed away from most of the graves in the cemetery, kind of towards the back of this, and as people filed out, heading off, whatever, like, appropriate nods and pleasantries would have been exchanged. Like, I'll be up there soon, assuming people are saying I'm going up to get some rest. And I would stick around. Because it's not that I didn't want to pay respects, it's that I was afraid to be so near the body when there were other people around. Because I didn't know if I could trust myself if that voice were to come back and tell me to do something else. And now that people are gone, with the exception that I imagine is just Rose standing there knowingly next to me, because Vaughn knows what conversation is coming.
What'd you do, man?
Worried about reanimating someone?
I would like to now go up and just be closer to Pavis's grave.
Vaughn moves up next to Pavis's grave. Take it you close next to him.
Yeah.
I imagine this is better if we just rip off the bandages, but it seems as though both of us have some things to share with the other, Rose. So which one of us would like to go first?
I will. What questions do you have for me?
While your baking skills are impressive, I thought that to be the only skills that you had. But I saw you do things. And you were down there with us fighting the way. Helping us, yes, but... Rose, have you always been able to do that?
Yes. Call it a familial heritage. You're wearing the amulet.
I haven't taken it off since you gave it to me.
Have you noticed it imbue anything?
A few times I've maybe shirked off some things that I thought were surely to hit and stood more steadfast when things got tough. But what are you saying?
Magic doesn't come only from the one god. Or any god.
I'm well aware of this. I'm very well aware of this, Rose. I had a conversation with George.
Yes.
And George did his best to assuage all of my concerns and explain to me he has a grand plan and that he's like, as he's like going on and on, it's kind of like descending into like the babbling almost of like of a child again, who's just like telling you all of the things that happened at school that day, you know, and they're really excited about it, but there's this weird fear that's sitting there. And he asked for my help, and he said that it's some greater good, that we have to deal with the concordance, and he's going to do the right decision.
Stop,
but...
Vaughn.
He just looks at you.
What is it that you're afraid of?
And you can see, like, in this very moment that he's very much afraid of verbalizing it, like saying it, making something real for the first time. I sat across from George at the table. As I looked at what I know to be my only remaining family member in this world, a voice came to me, and it told me that I should end him. And my hand fell to my weapon at my side, and I considered it. Because for that brief moment, it felt right, it felt just, it felt like what I needed to be doing. It felt like it was me. Rose, I feel like I'm losing myself. And these people around me tell me that it's a responsibility to come and claim the throne and save these individuals and to bring back what is good about Granitegard. And I feel like I am the very worst thing for every single one of these people here.
Why don't we sit down? Just here, on the ground.
It's more of a crumple than a sit, but he does.
I kind of put your head on my shoulder and stroke your hair. You're struggling with something. The voice?
He like still has his head very much like leaned into you, and he just brings out his other hand, and essentially he would kind of let one of the wounds that he essentially uses to channel some of this just open as some of the blood comes through and some of the like red arcane eldritch energy comes through, but you would notice that the black veins just start to course further and further up his arm with each time he's doing this. It's been getting worse. The individual that I got these, and he like shirks it away. The individual that I got these powers from told me that there would be a cost, and they have already paid theirs. I thought the cost would be something that I alone would pay, but it seems as if it's going to be sucking those around me down with it. And he like looks back down at Pavis's grave.
Have you hurt your friends?
No,
You're scared you'll hurt them.
I'm scared I won't have a choice. Whereas I've always been in control. I make decisions because they are the right decisions. I think things through. The path that I have set before myself has been calculated. And I can feel those decisions slipping away. I'm not afraid of what's happening to me. I made that choice years ago. I'm afraid that I won't be in control when it happens.
Do you trust the people around you? You say you don't have family.
I have found family, I know that. I'm not a fool.
Do you trust them to stop you?
I trust that they will make the right decision if it comes to that, but I fear that they will hesitate. And I fear what happens in that hesitation.
No one is only good.
I understand that. He's like trying to like rectify himself and kind of like pulls back a little bit from resting on you, and he's trying to gain back some of that semblance of what it means to be in control, to be proper, to be someone who has it figured out in whatever this is. I know individuals are complicated, Rose, and that's... This isn't something that has to do with, am I a good person? Am I a bad person? I am a person who is going to make choices, and I'm going to make the choices that I think are right. And I'm not going to stop and think about if they are the good choices or the bad choices. I will do whatever I need to do to help those around me. But how can I do that? And you just see he's like, it like brings his hand back and forth. I'm afraid if somebody hadn't opened that door that I would have killed George. And that's not the decision that a hero makes. That's not a decision that a king makes.
Kings make many foolish decisions.
Not the king that I want to be.
Well, what have you found about removing this curse? Disease?
A half smile kind of comes to his face. Me, nothing. It hasn't been at the top of my to-do list. However, Mary seems interested. It's more than likely putting it slightly lightly. She seems very concerned.
And the rest?
Appropriately concerned, but I feel like I've assuaded most of their questions when necessary. There is the issue of Skeech. Skeech is also aware of this curse, this issue, but has also taken on some of the responsibility. I'm not exactly sure how it happened, who initiated it, or what took place, but whenever I access these powers, Skeech is the one who pays the price.
Entirely.
Not entirely, no, but enough. I imagine they will have questions. It's unfortunate, but they trusted me, and I agreed to something that I did not have full information on. And now Skeech has paid the price.
It's hard to hurt your friends.
Yeah, it is.
You have the posture of someone who thinks that they're a lost cause.
I have the posture of someone who isn't trying to hold on to too much hope for fear of letting it slip through their fingers. It's easier that way.
That I know too well.
I apologize. It seems like I'm lecturing you when you know the same amount of loss that I have felt. For that, I apologize.
You don't need to apologize. The city took many. You gave me something. A moment of closure.
I'm glad you had that. Not
Let's
everybody
stand
gets
up.
that. Like finally puts his hands like down on the ground and like realizes that it's freezing out here. The ground's frozen. Reaches up. Are you planning on staying with us, Rose?
I think time will tell. I'd like to stay here tonight.
That's a given, yes. But is there really a place back there in Newtown for you currently? I don't know what's happening.
I'm interested to speak with George myself. He seemed, in manner, to be more receptive to, well, I guess I should call him King George now.
He wears it well.
Sure feels odd.
He wears it better than I anticipated.
I think until there's some assurance that Newtown is safe. Well, you know, the Way wasn't the only group watching me. All of the Concordance is all over everyone.
It seems that they have hands in nearly every pie.
Indeed. I want to say,
Yes.
stand tall. You don't look like a lost cause.
Looking one way and feeling a way is... Those are very different things, Rose.
The people around you, if you trust them, they'll keep you from doing what you fear.
I hope you're right.
I hope so too.
Kind of looks down at Pavis's grave. I don't know, in-game and out-of-game things are weird, but how long were Rose and I here at the site?
Quite a bit of time. So,
And in that quite a bit of time, there was no assailing voice, there was no pressure, there was no push.
nope.
No tree growth.
Yeah, I don't
No tree growth that.
because subconsciously that was at a test he was playing with himself. Is he able? Is he allowed to be here?
Yeah, there was nothing that seemed to be pushing.
I think I'd like to go inside out of the cold now, Rose.
Two of you turn to leave, head to the warmth of the garrison tower. Breath's coming out. Nice thick fog there, but we are going to jump, instead of inside the garrison tower, way, way, way to the top of the garrison tower, and the cold winds that are blowing by, as Damon stands up there by himself, looking out into the night sky across the valley here. Damon, what are you doing?
I'm going to sit down. And I'm going to remove the cloak that Ehko had given to me. And I'm going to take off my patch jacket that my brother had given to me. I'm going to take the leather piece that is all that is left of him, and a sewing kit from my pocket. With shaky hands, I'm going to try to sew the leather piece under where the left shoulder blade would be on my jacket, representing where Sep had stabbed Ajax.
Oh.
As you begin doing so, memories of your childhood keep bubbling to the surface, particularly memories with Ajax. You remember the day that he gave you the cloak. I remember moments of time where inside jokes the two of you were laughing at, just brothers experiencing life back in the warm sands of home. And the patch job that you do of sewing that on there is a remarkable job. Pull it off perfectly, seamlessly into the fabric that's already there. And as you hold it up and look at it, you can almost hear Ajax's laughter in the back of your ears, but then the wind blows a little more harshly and it fades away into the night.
I'm just going to start crying.
And that is where we're going to wrap up tonight's evening. We do hope that you'll join us again on December 3rd, where we'll pick back up and see what other dangers and adventures there are to be had in the doomed city of Granitegard here. Have yourself a wonderful Thanksgiving weekend, and if you don't celebrate that, have yourself at least a good meal and some time with some friends. How about that? And we'll see you on December 3rd. You all have a great night.
Let's hope next time it's less teary.